in this nonprofit world, in this space, it's always, oftentimes, right? It's about white leaders coming together and saying, like, hey, Black folk, hey, Indigenous people, hey, community, and we know that you guys are suffering, or we're assuming that you guys are suffering, and you're having all of these issues, and we have the solution. And then we can go to our, our white corporate donors, and we can get the money to actually do the work, and yet not having a real sense of the community. So how do you sort of counteract and counterbalance that as you started the structures of the organization?
So the first thing I did was I wrote a bunch of frameworks that I thought would work. But before I went and like said anything to anyone, I went and talked to the community a bunch. Right. So it was me, for marketers out there, it was me A/B testing a lot of like, hey, I think this is a good idea. But hey, I'm also a cisgendered white dude. I want to make sure this is not framed in my whiteness. Right. So a lot of it is, again, being intentional in what you're doing and being introspective. That's not to say that, of course, like there haven't been hiccups for me, because again, I still live in a society that conditions me to believe that I am the narrator of the story for everyone, right? So it's about constant introspection and then constant open conversations with the community. So for us, it was, reaching out to as many individuals who would talk to us, saying, hey, we think this could work. Well, what about this? Readjusting our frameworks, and then again, making sure that we're constantly empowering the community to be a part of our framework, right? So the problem with traditional philanthropy is exactly what you're saying, right? It's this performative act by predominantly white people to continue to enrich themselves in the board, in the C-suite. I just shared an article on LinkedIn about St. Jude that pulls in around $2 billion a year in fundraising, right? They make more than the next 10 hospitals on the list for children, but they still have parents sleeping in the parking lot, right? Because they only cover one person's travel, right? So there's this idea that like philanthropy is really a Band-Aid that is used for white performativeness. And all it does is it really changes the outcome in a very small micro sense. And then they use that as a performative, what? Everything's better now, right? As opposed to we need to change all of the systems that lead to that outcome and ensure it won't continue to happen.